Hello, my name is Louis Dretch, and I had an extraordinary experience in October 1986. For 8 minutes, I was clinically dead. The events leading to this life-altering moment remain vivid in my mind, etched as if they happened yesterday. It was late in the afternoon, the sky already dimming as autumn's chill settled in. I was riding my bike home from work, navigating a road with a steep decline that curved sharply to the right. As I approached the bend, the roar of the wind drowned out the sound of an oncoming car until it was too late. The vehicle, speeding recklessly, took the curve wide and veered entirely into my lane. In that split second, I realized there was no time to react. The collision was unavoidable. What happened next is something I will never forget. Suddenly, everything became indescribably light. I felt myself lifted, weightless, as though I had been freed from the constraints of my body. It was as if I had entered a warm, glowing sea of light, shimmering with vibrant colors that seemed to dance and vibrate like living crystals. The sensation was utterly calming yet exhilarating, a harmony I had never known. I felt balanced, peaceful, and utterly at ease. If you believe in God and near-death experiences, subscribe to Life at NDE today. Discover inspiring messages from God through powerful near-death stories that bring hope and understanding. Hit subscribe now and join us in spreading the light of faith. As I looked around, there was only light, pure, radiant, and boundless. There were no landmarks, no sense of direction to orient myself. In search of something familiar, I looked down and saw what could only be described as my own body. But it was not the physical body I knew. It was transparent and emitted a brilliant glow, like a powerful tube of light. The most astonishing thing was that this light emanating from me seemed even brighter than the overwhelming brilliance surrounding me. I later came to understand that my being was reflecting and amplifying the light of the realm I had entered. To ground myself, I focused on my feet. The floating sensation began to subside, and I realized I was standing on a kind of light platform, surrounded by a pulsating, vibrant sea of warm, radiant energy. The vibrations of the light seemed to resonate with a melody, a harmony that I felt more than heard. As I absorbed this incredible environment, I became aware of voices and faint sounds in the distance. My curiosity stirred. Where was I? What was this place? With a thought, just the intention to understand, I began to move, drawn downward through the light. The descent felt effortless, as though my will alone guided me. Soon, I found myself hovering about 100 feet above the scene of the accident. Below me was chaos. I saw a crowd of people gathered around a young man lying motionless on the road. Emergency responders worked frantically to revive him while onlookers stood in shock. Cries of despair rang out, "He's dead! He's dead! There's nothing we can do." As I looked closer, something about the man on the ground struck me. There was a familiarity that made my chest tighten. And then, with a jolt, I realized why, because that man was me. The realization sent a wave of emotion through me, so intense it seemed to flow from my heart and radiate outward. I felt an electric current surge through my being, as though I had been connected to a higher energy system. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced, filling me with indescribable power. At that moment, I felt entirely and truly myself for the first time. It was as though my spirit had awakened, transcending the limitations of my physical body. Standing there, observing the scene below, I understood the interconnectedness of everything: the people, the emotions, the energy. And yet, I was filled with a profound peace, a sense of purpose that would guide me through what was to come. This was just the beginning of a journey that would forever change the way I understood life, death, and the nature of existence itself. As I remained suspended in that extraordinary state, I became more deeply aware of a profound, universal truth. I was part of something infinitely greater than myself. I was connected to the divine, a fragment of the godly soul that exists across countless dimensions simultaneously. This realization filled me with awe and an overwhelming sense of unity. Thousands of radiant beams of light began to emanate from me, cascading outward in a kaleidoscope of brilliant colors. These weren't just lights, they were living, breathing connections, each representing a thread that bound me to everything in existence. It was as though I had become one with the fabric of creation itself. Through these beams of light, I could perceive the accident scene with an unimaginable clarity. Each beam offered a unique perspective, allowing me to see everything all at once, as if time and space no longer held any constraints. I could observe the scene from above, around, and even within objects and people. It was as though I had been granted access to a universal perspective, where nothing was hidden and every moment was interconnected. I realized that my newfound ability to move through solid objects, cars, trees, and even the earth itself was a natural aspect of this non-physical dimension. Here, the concept of solidity didn't exist in the same way it does on Earth. I understood that matter, no matter how dense or impenetrable it seems in the physical world, is merely energy vibrating at a slower frequency. Even the hardest materials were permeable, their particles moving and creating spaces through which energy could flow freely. This realization was both humbling and liberating, as it revealed the illusion of separation that we experience in the physical world. As I turned my attention to the young man lying injured on the ground, I realized with a jolt of recognition that it was my own physical body. The sight was both surreal and deeply personal. I could see through my body as though it were transparent, observing the intricate workings of my organs, glands, and energy channels. Life's energy flowed through me in visible patterns, revealing not only the injuries from the accident but also the imbalances and emotional scars I had carried throughout my life. Each injury and ailment told a story, a chain of events and choices that had left an imprint on my being. I could see the interconnectedness of my physical, emotional, and spiritual states, understanding for the first time how deeply they influenced one another. My attention shifted to the people gathered around the scene. Each individual radiated an aura of light, their colors reflecting their emotional and spiritual states. Those who were helping, offering kindness and compassion, glowed with warm, pastel hues that shimmered and danced like sunlight on water. Their energy emitted a symphony of harmony and love, a melody so beautiful that it resonated deep within my soul. Listening to their energy was like hearing the most exquisite music, a reminder of the inherent goodness that exists within humanity. In stark contrast, the auras of those overwhelmed by fear and despair were dim and heavy. Their energy had darkened, condensing into shadows that clung to them like a heavy fog. I could feel the coldness and disconnection that surrounded them, a reflection of their inner turmoil. These individuals seemed almost detached from their physical forms, their low vibrations creating an atmosphere of isolation and dissonance. Despite the stark differences between the bright and dark energies, I felt no judgment, only an all-encompassing understanding. I realized that all of these energies, whether harmonious or discordant, were part of the same divine spectrum. They were manifestations of the choices, emotions, and intentions that shaped each person's journey. The vibrations of love and compassion lifted and unified, while those of fear and pain created separation and struggle. This intricate interplay of energies revealed the profound interconnectedness of all beings. I was struck by the realization that even the darkest energies were not inherently separate from the light, but were part of a process, a journey toward healing, growth, and unity. The vibrations of compassion, even from a single person, could ripple outward, touching and uplifting those around them. In that moment, I felt a deep reverence for the complexity and beauty of existence, for the way every act, thought, and feeling contributed to the grand symphony of creation. As I stood there, enveloped in the radiant beams of light and connected to the entire scene, I felt an indescribable sense of completeness. For the first time in my existence, I felt fully aligned with who I was, a being of light, love, and infinite potential. The experience wasn't just about observing, it was about understanding and becoming one with the essence of life itself. Every fear, every question, every doubt I had ever carried dissolved into the luminous truth of interconnectedness and divine love. This realization was not an ending but a profound beginning. A transformation that would forever change the way I understood life, death, and the boundless beauty of the universe. Before me, emerging from the shimmering radiance, each of them exuded a presence so profound that it felt as though the very essence of peace and wisdom flowed from them. These beings of light were not just figures, they seemed to be alive with energy, their forms shifting and glowing like the purest crystal refracting divine light. Their movements were slow and deliberate, and they carried an aura of infinite love and understanding. I could sense that these beings knew everything about me, every thought, every experience, every hidden corner of my heart. Yet, there was no judgment in their presence, only compassion and a deep, abiding love. They seemed to communicate directly to my soul, bypassing words entirely. Their voices resonated within me like harmonious melodies, filling me with an understanding that was instant and complete. One of the light beings stepped forward, radiating warmth and gentleness, and conveyed, "Welcome, beloved one. You have journeyed far, and now you are here to learn and remember." As the words filled my being, I felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. It was as though I had returned to a home I had long forgotten but had always yearned for. The being continued, "You have seen much, but there is more to understand. Your journey on earth was never about the body alone. The body is a vessel, a temporary home for your true self, which is eternal and divine. Your soul carries the imprint of all your experiences, lessons, and growth. What you have endured, learned, and loved will always remain a part of you." As they spoke, a series of visions began to unfold around me. I saw my entire life, but not as a linear sequence of events. Instead, it was like watching a tapestry being woven, each thread representing a choice, a moment, or a connection. I could see how every interaction I had, no matter how small, had created ripples that extended far beyond what I could have imagined. Acts of kindness shone like bright threads, while moments of fear or anger appeared as darker strands. Yet, even the dark strands were necessary, adding depth and contrast to the tapestry. I was shown how my focus on the physical had overshadowed the deeper, more meaningful aspects of my existence. "You have been too attached to the material world," the being explained. "But this is part of the human journey. The forgetting is essential, for it allows you to rediscover the truth through experience and growth." Another being stepped forward, their presence more commanding but equally gentle. "You are here to remember the unity of all things," they said. "You are not separate. Every soul, every moment, every experience is interconnected. The energy you radiate influences the world around you, just as the energy of others shapes your experience. This is why love and compassion are so vital. They are the forces that bind the universe together." As I absorbed their words, I felt an even greater expansion of awareness. I could see how the energy I radiated interacted with others, creating sparks of connection and understanding. I understood how fear, anger, and pain created barriers. But how love and forgiveness dissolved them, allowing light to flow freely. The beings of light were teaching me that our essence, our true nature, is not just to receive love but to radiate it, becoming conduits of divine energy. The first being then said, "There is still much for you to do. Your time on earth is not finished, for your journey is part of a greater whole. The lessons you learn, the love you share, and the energy you radiate contribute to the awakening of others. You are not alone in this mission. All souls are on this journey together, each playing a role in the unfolding of divine purpose." As I stood there, enveloped by their light, I felt a pull back toward the platform. It was as if I were being gently drawn into their embrace, merging with the infinite warmth and love that surrounded me. In that moment, I felt whole, completely free from fear, pain, or doubt. I understood that my true self was not bound by time or space, and that my purpose was to reflect the divine light I had experienced back into the world. The light beings began to recede, their forms becoming more transparent as they moved into the brilliance surrounding us. Before they disappeared completely, one of them spoke a final message: "Remember what you have seen and felt. Take it back with you and share it with others. Let your life be a testament to the truth you now know, that you are light, you are love, and you are eternal." As their presence faded, I felt a sudden shift, a force pulling me back toward my physical body. The transition was abrupt, almost jarring, as if I were being squeezed into a space far too small for my expanded awareness. I gasped for air as my senses returned, the sterile smell of the hospital and the hum of machines grounding me once more in the physical world. Lying there, I felt different, changed. I was no longer the person I had been before the accident. The weight of my earthly concerns felt lighter, and my perspective on life had shifted entirely. I knew I had been given a gift, a glimpse of the eternal, and a mission to bring that light into the world. As I descended into this new realm, it felt like an immense energy was enveloping me, guiding me deeper into the unknown. The darkness around me was not oppressive or frightening, but rather an absence of the light I had previously known. It pulsed with vibrations so low and dense that they seemed to resonate in my very being. The tunnel I traveled through seemed infinite, twisting and turning, filled with patterns of energy that danced like faint shadows against the walls. The light beings, my guides, had prepared me for this journey, and their lingering presence gave me a sense of calm despite the unfamiliarity of this place. I couldn't see them anymore, but I could still feel their loving energy faintly, like a comforting whisper in the back of my mind. I understood that this was part of the experience I needed, that I was being shown another facet of existence. The speed at which I traveled was unlike anything I could describe in earthly terms. It felt as though I was moving through dimensions, beyond time and space, propelled by a force far greater than myself. The tunnel began to shift and change, and I started to see faint, glowing forms appearing in the distance. As I approached, I realized I was entering a realm of profound stillness, but it was far from lifeless. Shapes and energies floated around me, their presence subtle yet deeply significant. These were not like the light beings I had met earlier. They were heavier, denser, as if tethered to this dimension in a way that the others were not. They emanated vibrations of sorrow and longing, their colors muted and dim, like flickering embers struggling to reignite. I felt an urge to reach out to them, and as I did, I was filled with an understanding of their nature. These were souls caught in a state of transition, bound by unresolved pain, fear, or regret. They were not trapped or doomed, but they were in a place where they needed healing and guidance to move forward. I could feel their emotions as if they were my own, the weight of their struggles, the yearning for release, and the faint flicker of hope buried deep within them. The tunnel opened into a vast, expansive void. It was not empty but filled with an intricate web of energy. Threads of light and darkness intertwined, pulsating with life and emotion. I could see how these threads connected every being, every thought, and every moment across dimensions. It was a tapestry of existence, and I was a part of it. In the center of this web, I saw a brighter light glowing faintly, beckoning me closer. As I moved toward it, I felt a pull, like gravity, drawing me to the source. The light expanded, revealing a magnificent crystalline structure. It shimmered and refracted in all directions, casting patterns of light and color that seemed to contain knowledge, memories, and truths. Inside this crystalline structure, I was shown glimpses of lives, mine and others. They unfolded like scenes in a story, but they were not linear. Past, present, and future blended together seamlessly. I saw moments of joy, sorrow, growth, and connection. I felt the impact of choices I had made, not just on myself but on others and the world around me. Every decision, no matter how small, had rippled outward, influencing the greater web of existence. Then, the structure began to vibrate, and I heard a voice, not a spoken voice, but a resonance that filled the space around me. It was a voice of pure wisdom, carrying the essence of the divine. It said, "You are here to understand the balance of light and shadow, the interplay of energy that creates all things. Your journey is a bridge between dimensions, a path to bring understanding and healing back to the physical world." As the words filled me, I felt a surge of purpose and clarity. This experience was not just for me, it was a gift to be shared, a message to bring back to the living. I was being entrusted with knowledge that could guide others, help them reconnect with their own light, and understand the interconnectedness of all existence. The vibrations around me began to shift again, and I realized my journey through this dimension was coming to an end. The crystalline structure faded, and I felt the pull of the tunnel once more. This time, the darkness began to lighten, and I felt the familiar warmth of the higher vibrations returning. The journey back was just as swift as the descent, but now I carried with me the profound understanding of what I had seen and felt. As I emerged back into the light, my guides were waiting for me. Their energy surrounded me with love and reassurance. One of them spoke, saying, "You have seen what needed to be seen. Now it is time to return, to carry this truth with you and share it with others. Your journey is far from over, but you are never alone." With that, I felt the light around me intensify, lifting me higher until I was once again in the place of pure radiance. The love and unity I felt were overwhelming, and I knew this was not an ending but a new beginning. The lessons I had learned, the connections I had witnessed, and the truths I had been shown would stay with me forever, guiding me in the life that awaited my return. The light being's words resonated deeply within me, carrying a weight of truth that was both profound and undeniable. As we stood together on that radiant plateau, surrounded by a beauty beyond human comprehension, I could feel his energy pouring into me, opening my awareness to realities I had never before considered. He spoke again, his voice not audible but felt within my very essence. "You live in a world filled with distractions, illusions, and unnecessary burdens. You focus so much on material possessions, on fear, on division, and yet you neglect the very essence of your being, the energy of love, connection, and unity that binds all life together." The word struck me like a wave of clarity. He continued, "Humanity has forgotten its true nature. You are not separate from one another, nor are you separate from the divine. Every thought, every action, every feeling contributes to the fabric of existence. When you dwell in negativity and fear, you create ripples that affect the entire universe. But when you choose love, kindness, and joy, you elevate everything around you. As he spoke, images began to form in the air around us. I saw scenes of people on Earth. Some were consumed by anger and conflict. Their energy fields clouded with dark, chaotic vibrations. Others, though fewer in number, radiated warmth and light as they helped others, shared laughter, or simply held each other with genuine love. The contrast was stark and heartbreaking. The light being asked me, "Do you see how powerful your choices are? Every moment of your life is an opportunity to create or to destroy, to heal or to harm. Where is the love that should flow freely between you? Where is the laughter that lightens your burdens? Where is the joy that connects you to the divine?" I felt humbled, almost ashamed, as I reflected on my own life. How often had I let fear dictate my actions? How many times had I allowed petty grievances to overshadow opportunities for love and understanding? The being's words were not accusatory but compassionate, as though he truly wanted me to understand and grow. He stepped closer, his light intensifying, and said, "You must take this knowledge back with you. Share what you have seen and felt here. Help others to remember who they truly are, beings of light, connected to the infinite, capable of transforming the world through love. Time on earth is brief, but its impact is eternal. Use it wisely." As he spoke, I felt an overwhelming sense of responsibility but also a profound reassurance. His presence filled me with strength and purpose. I asked him, silently, "How can I make a difference? How can I change a world so caught in its own darkness?" His answer was simple yet profound: start with yourself. Live in love, in kindness, in joy. When you radiate these energies, others will feel them and begin to awaken. You do not need to save the entire world, you only need to ignite the light within those around you. The ripple effect will do the rest. I absorbed his words as if they were etched into my very soul. Around us, the light intensified, and I felt a connection to everything, a profound awareness of unity that defied explanation. The river below sparkled with crystalline clarity, flowing as if it carried the essence of life itself. I could sense the harmony in every particle, every vibration, and I knew this was how life was meant to be. The being gestured toward the distant valley, where a powerful and almost otherworldly light emanated. "This," he said, "is the source of divine creation, the energy that sustains all existence. You are always connected to it. Even when you forget, return to this connection, and you will find peace, strength, and purpose." I stood there, overwhelmed by the beauty, the truth, and the love that surrounded me. I wanted to stay forever in this place of unity and light, but I also knew that my time here was not permanent. The being smiled, as if he understood my thoughts, and said, "You will return to your life, but you will not be the same. Carry this light within you. Share it freely. And remember, you are never truly alone. We are always with you." With those words, I felt a shift. The vibrant plateau began to dissolve. The radiant light faded slightly, and I was enveloped once again by the spiral of energy that had brought me here. The journey back felt both instantaneous and eternal, as if time had no meaning. When I awoke in my physical body, the world seemed different. The sterile hospital room, the concerned faces of doctors and loved ones, it all felt distant yet intimately connected to the divine truth I had just experienced. I realized that the light being's message was not just for me, but for all of humanity. From that moment on, I knew my purpose. I would dedicate my life to spreading love, to helping others reconnect with their true essence, and to reminding everyone that we are all part of something far greater than ourselves. The light I had encountered was not a distant, unattainable force. It was within each of us, waiting to be awakened. The light being revealed to me a vision of how life on Earth was originally intended to be, a harmonious existence where all beings lived in unity, mutual understanding, and balance. From the very beginning, life was meant to vibrate and pulsate with the clearest colors of unconditional love and unity among all living things. In this vision, I was given a perspective of Earth from a non-physical realm. The world appeared just as it does in our physical reality, yet it was entirely non-material, composed only of transparent energy. Every living thing, humans, animals, plants, as well as solid matter like rocks and mountains, radiated energy, bound together by intricate beams of light. These beams pulsed and shimmered, connecting everything in an exquisite network of interdependence. The energies radiating from Mother Earth herself and the universe beyond wove together in a beautiful symphony of interconnectedness. The light being allowed me to immerse myself in these extraordinary energies, and the experience defies words. It felt as though I was suspended in an unparalleled state of bliss, enveloped by waves of warm, healing, and unifying vibrations. In this sacred space, I was gifted profound revelations about the true nature of life and how it was designed to be. I came to understand that our purpose is to embody and express unconditional love for ourselves and for others. We are meant to give and receive love freely, without expectation or fear, and to forgive with an open heart. This forgiveness extends not only outward to those around us, but inward, to the parts of ourselves we often struggle to accept. Through this cycle of love and forgiveness, we can dissolve barriers, resolve conflicts, and foster a life of balance and unity. This knowledge wasn't conveyed through words, but as a deeply intuitive awakening that resonated within every fiber of my being. It was as though I had been reminded of a truth I had always known but had forgotten. The realization was transformative. The essence of life is in nurturing these sacred connections, in being a vessel of love and compassion, and in creating harmony in all we do. These insights have reshaped the way I see the world and my role within it. They have instilled in me a renewed sense of purpose, guiding me to approach life with greater empathy, kindness, and understanding. This experience was not just a lesson, it was a profound gift, one that continues to illuminate my journey every day. One of the most remarkable aspects of this experience was being shown how time operates in this higher dimension. Time, as we understand it, does not exist there. On Earth, we measure time in linear intervals from one moment to the next. In the non-physical realm, time is replaced by vibrational states, experiences, knowledge, and understanding are not gained through a sequence of events but are absorbed instantaneously through different vibrational conditions. In this timeless state, I felt as though I was granted access to all knowledge and understanding, as if everything simply was. The concept of minutes or seconds became meaningless, as the richness of experience transcended earthly measures of time. This realization helped me understand how I could have experienced so much during the 8 minutes I was clinically dead. In that higher vibrational state, I was free from the confines of linear time and immersed in a dimension where understanding is immediate and boundless. As I returned to my physical body, I realized that this connection to the higher realm was not something I had to leave behind. I have retained a deep sense of this connection and the ability to perceive life through a non-physical lens. This perspective allows me to see the radiating energies of love, kindness, and compassion, as well as the darker, heavier vibrations of fear and discord. I share these experiences not to elevate myself as a spiritual authority or guide, but as a fellow traveler, profoundly transformed by what I've witnessed. My hope is that my story encourages others to look inward, to embrace the vast potential for love, forgiveness, and unity that exists within each of us. The lessons I learned on the other side have illuminated my life in ways I could never have imagined. And it is my sincerest wish that they may bring light and meaning to yours as well. The most profound revelation I received is that we are never truly separate from the divine.